This video will explain how to show subtraction on a number line without the walking forward, walking backward stuff. So let's consider any subtraction problem. First, we'll do even some positives and negatives. So first we'll do 18 minus 6 is 12. And then so what we've been talking about is I can take my piece and I can put it on an 18, right? The green, you can see I'm going to the right, I'm adding, but in this case, I want to subtract. So we can go this way to show subtraction. We can turn it on and we can see 18 minus 5 is 13, minus 6, right, would be 12. So here I want us to notice that this is our minuend, and here's our, well, actually here, right, is our subtrahend. And this, right, where we land, is the difference. And so that's fine, right? We can think about subtraction as counting back or take away, and that's how we get this. But another way to think about subtraction is the distance or difference between these two numbers. And so if we start here with the minuend, and now we're thinking, ooh, here's my subtrahend, right? Here's 6. Now I can see, and this is kind of using this count up method, right? If I count up from my subtrahend to my minuend, I see now this is my difference, right? The distance between the two numbers, between 6 and 18, is this positive 12. And now I want you to notice that we're starting here with the subtrahend and going towards the minuend. So now let's consider, what if it was 18, and maybe I'll change my color here, sorry. Let's do blue. What if it was 18 minus a negative 6? And so a lot of people were struggling to show why this is, subtracting a negative yields this positive difference, right? This positive answer. So I'm going to erase all of this. And now let's see if we can apply these same ideas, right? So if we're thinking about 18 minus a negative 6, well, here's my 18, my minuend, but here is my negative 6, my subtrahend. And just like before, I'm going to count from my subtrahend up to my minuend. And that's how, right, this 18 minus a negative 6 is the same as, right? It doesn't turn into the minus, subtracting a negative doesn't automatically turn into a positive number. That's not very helpful, right? That doesn't make a lot of sense, right? The distance between these numbers is this difference, right? This is why it's super far away, right, from the negative to the positive, even versus, right, even since it was from, from the positive. That would have to be shrunk, right? Oh, there we go. Right? If we go from positive 6 to positive 18, we're only going a distance of 12. But if we go from a negative 6 to a positive 18, now we see we have this distance of 24. Okay, so I just cleared it, but now our last example was, right, 18 minus a negative 6. That's how we yielded this positive 24. We were looking at the difference. But what if it was the other way around? Negative 6 minus 18. Or even, we can even do positive 6 minus 18. Maybe we'll start there first. So again, let's apply what we did. So we'll start positive 6, and let me erase this one. We'll explore that one next. Positive 6 is our minuend. Now, I want to figure out minus 18. All right, so if I'm using this little guy, if I go 6 to 18 though, right, that's a positive 12. Well, if you remember, right, here's my subtrahend. Trahend, not, I was a little eager with the E, right? Before we start at the subtrahend, it's just like we're counting up. Hold on, this isn't letting me change it. So we still, the same exact rules, ideas apply, right? Start at the subtrahend and count to the minuend. In this case, we're counting back. And this yields us this negative 12. So we still see the distance or difference between 6 and 18 is 12, but we need to pay attention to which one, comes first, the minuend or the subtrahend. And so we count from the subtrahend to the minuend, right? We counted from 18 to 16, and that led us counting back. So that's why we result in this negative difference. So what if it was -6 minus 18? Well, so same thing, right? Start at your subtrahend. I'm sorry, that is really ugly recording there. Right? Start at your subtrahend at 18, but now instead of stopping at +6, right, I want to count all the way to my minuend, which is now, oops, erase that guy, right? I'm going to count all the way to my minuend here, which is, in this case now, -6. And here I can still see this whole thing as the difference or the distance between these two numbers. And again, we see -6 minus minus 18, not minus a -18, right, is -24 now. The distance between -6 and 18 is, right, 24 spaces. But if we're going -6 minus 18, we want this -24 because we start at the subtrahend 18 and we count to the minuend, right? Count from the subtrahend to the minuend, and that's how we can yield this negative number. Where before, when we did, right, +18 minus a -6, we started at, right, and then, and maybe I'll try that, I'll do that again so we can erase this, right? Now this is no longer the minuend and this is no longer the subtrahend, right? Now they're switching roles. So I'll change colors, right? So now, well, I'll change the color. Just to reiterate, right? If it was this way, 18 minus the -6, well, now -6 would be the subtrahend and 18 would be the minuend. So I want to start from my subtrahend, right? From -6, and count to 18. And that's how we get the positive, right? Now this is our +24. So you always start from the subtrahend to and count to the minuend when we're talking about the number line. But so last one we'll check out, but what if it was a -6 minus a -18? So again, same rules apply. We're going to start at our subtrahend and then count to the minuend. So we're going to count to the minuend. And we can see now, again, we're moving in that positive direction from the subtrahend to the minuend. And then, right, so I do this and then you can just turn on the label and see that is now a +12. So we're, again, this is the same as -6 plus 18, but it's not because the 18 magically becomes positive. It's because this is this distance or the difference between these two numbers, right? -6 and +18, starting at the subtrahend, counting to the minuend.